As this article out of Colo 8 News says, bill increasing Nevada minimum wage clears assembly. More news like this. It's a huge problem. We've gone into it a lot of times. Of course, we're joined by Erin Nakamoto here at World Alternative Media. And of course, we've done a lot of reporting on the minimum wage issues before, and it's just basic economics. It's not about opinion, guys. It's just basic economics. If you raise the minimum wage, as we've seen in places like Seattle, people move from that place. Businesses move to that place to another place because there's more incentive to have a business in a place where they don't have to pay people sometimes twice as much as they're already paying them. It only helps businesses like McDonald's get a leg up. We'll get into that in a moment. But anyway, as this article goes into, Bill AB 456 to raise Nevada's minimum wage has passed the assembly in a party line vote. The measure, approved Tuesday by Democrats, seeks to raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour for workers not offered health insurance and an $11 an hour for employees who are. And let's remember that the current minimum wage is somewhere around $2.25 in Nevada. So that isn't very sustainable to just bounce it up almost double from what it is. But as it continues, it says the measure now moves to the state Senate for consideration. And the state Senate is very much on the left in Nevada, surprisingly, mostly because of all the Californians moving here, I think. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Everywhere you look, it's California license plates here in Nevada.
Yeah.
But anyway, carrying on.
We're a total blue state now. Whereas, just last election cycle, we were a red state.
Oh, and the majority of women, don't forget that, in the Senate, in the state Senate. So there's that. Congratulations, you win.
Well, you know my opinion on that.
Assembly Speaker Jason Frierson says a minimum wage would positively impact hundreds of thousands of state residents. The bill is a revived effort after former Republican Governor Brian Sandoval vetoed a 2017 bill to raise the minimum wage. The Assembly Democratic Caucus says a joint resolution separate of the bill aims to increase the minimum wage and constitutionally remove the two-tiered minimum wage structure. That measure also passed the Assembly on Tuesday. So let's talk about this a little bit. Here is the basic economic principles involved in this. So if there's a lot of businesses like McDonald's, like Walmart, like a lot of these big corporations that completely approve of the idea in a lot of places, and there's a reason for that. Because these things push small businesses out of the market and prop up major corporations. Again, regulations, taxes, and things like the minimum wage hike just help these massive corporations. They won't get hurt by it. They'll just hire robots to do all the stuff for the employees. They're slave labor without slaves. Meanwhile, small businesses have to go out of business because they cannot afford to pay the taxes, deal with all the red tape regulations, and on top of that, pay everyone, in some cases, twice as much. It's ridiculous.
Socialists will blame it on capitalism, right? And
I know.
That's why they'll always do that. They'll always blame it on capitalism, and from there...
it's a problem reaction solution.
It is.
It's like, let's create problems, and then people will beg government to solve those problems.
But it's just corporatism, honestly.
Yeah, it's corporatism. It's corporate fascism. It's control of corporations by government. And again, one of the biggest issues that plays into this minimum wage argument is actually inflation. Mm-hmm. So when we get down to the brass details of this, it's a fact that as long as we print currency out of thin air and get people to pay off the interest on the debt and just vast amounts of printing, then what happens? You end up with the price of living inflating. You just keep adding zeros, one zero after another to products. That's why bread has gone from 5 cents to like 10. Like in Las Vegas here, I go to Whole Foods and it's like $9 or $10. It's ridiculous getting a loaf of bread.
Well, you are shopping at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
But in general, things are going up, and and that drives up the homeless population as well. People can't afford to live in their homes.
Already, almost about somewhere around 2% of the population in Las Vegas is homeless. Now, a lot of that plays into a lot of people coming here and losing all their money and then sleeping on the streets. But, and a lot of people from California because you'd rather sleep on a street in Las Vegas than in LA or San Francisco, to be fair, but I would prefer not to sleep on the street anywhere. And again, this is an issue of government centralizing things, and people think that if the amount of money that everyone makes goes up, that all the prices are going to stay the same. No, they're not. They're not going to stay stable. The prices are going to go up with the price of living, because guess what? The more you have to pay your employees, the more you have to raise the price of the products that your employees are producing. So in order to keep up with the cost, or else you go out of business. It's just basic economics. Unless you're a McDonald's or a Walmart, which can employ robots to do everything for you, as you've seen with self-checkout. And I'm actually in favor of automation, because it statistically creates more jobs over time than it takes. As we've seen going back to the 90s, especially, about 50% of jobs today could not have been known to exist in the 1990s. But with that said, do we want to give these major corporations a monopoly on that and create an artificial move towards this automation, where only the Walmarts of the world and the Whole Foods and the McDonald's and Burger Kings have that role? But I mean, you've seen a lot of poverty in the city, Erin. You've lived here longer than I have. What do you think about how this is going to affect the average person who goes to the store and buys a product, goes to a grocery store?
I mean, like I mentioned, it's just going to drive up the price of everything else. And honestly, like I can see it doubling the homeless population.
I see this the same thing that's happening in Canada happening here, because we've seen things like, on top of the minimum wage hikes in Canada, you'll see the carbon tax, which is a tax on everything, exporting, importing, it's all taxed. And therefore, it becomes impossible to afford anything. And then bring in UBI and stuff like that. And what happens next? Well, you end up increasing the price of living further, because everything's going to go up with the amount that you're just pouring out to people. And when the government is stealing from everyone to pay everyone, like I've seen this one guy, what's his name, Yang or something? He's running for president.
Yang
of course,
Gang.
yeah, and he's talking about he wants to give everyone in the United States this paycheck every month. I'm like, where do you think this is coming from? It's so ridiculous. Like, where do these people think this is coming from? But of course, it's free stuff. It's to be nice to people. No, it's to make you be more and more controlled. It's to make you more and more dependent.
Yeah.
And stupid and weak and dumb. I mean, it's all about making you more controllable, and it's a normalization, incremental frog boil to complete collectivism and control of the masses. And it comes under the guise of free things. It's what we saw in India when the Indian government gave everyone free bank accounts in 2014, 2015. And then what happened next? Well, then they're trying to install their cashless society, demonetize all currency, push everyone into the system with facial recognition and everything, and rival China for the next world reserve cashless currency. It's all meant to control you. The government doesn't do anything it doesn't personally benefit from, and that you don't personally suffer from long term. Government can't give you freedom. They can only take it away. And again, we are going to see this everywhere. Californians are moving en masse to Las Vegas. I mean, like, a few years ago compared to now, how many more Californians are you seeing driving around here?
Plus, now we have the Raiders coming to town, which is just going to drive even more Californians in, and bringing their liberal ideas and policies and
destroyed their state. Why don't they just come over here and bring their ideas that destroy their state with them? Because
we already have a socialist governor.
Sisolak.
Like he's been trying to push gun legislation, like anti-gun legislation, and sheriffs have actually written back to him and said, we will not enforce this.
Yeah, because they'll get shot.
Yeah, because look at the red flag laws that are popping up all over the country.
Yeah,
it's really scary. It's terrifying what socialists are trying to push on us, and we have to make sure that we protect our rights.
It's that problem, reaction, solution, repeat that we're seeing from government, and they're shooting themselves in the foot because they're moving too fast, and they're going to get caught red-handed trying to impose all these laws by people who it's not like it happened over 40 years. I mean, we have seen a lot of normalization of control over 40 years, but to see all these things happen at the same time, it's not going to work. And I mean, these Californians that are moving from states where in LA, it's like $4 million to have a small house. In San Francisco, people who work 2 jobs are living out of their vehicle, and there's feces all over the street and homeless people everywhere. And then they come to Las Vegas, where of course there's lots of homeless, but obviously, like, property prices are way down here, incredibly cheap compared to most of the country, actually, for a big city.
And but it is getting bad. Like, it's getting bad.
Yeah, it's growing again because it was just above $200,000 in 2007 when the bubble burst, jumped down to below 100, and now it's above 200,000 on average again. But compared to the rest of the country, the big cities, Seattle, you look at New York, New Jersey, you look at LA, San Diego, San Francisco, it's a big difference. And I think a lot of Californians are like, oh, we centralized the hell out of our economy and destroyed everything. Let's go to Nevada because it's not too bad yet.
And do it all again.
Do it all again.
Yep.
People never learn, and it's like the same thing with fiat currency. Well, it's only been 1,000 years that that's been happening. Or even worse, democracy. It's only been like thousands and thousands and thousands of years, ancient Greece.
We just didn't do it right.
Yeah, maybe this time. Change we can believe in. Maybe if everyone's always asking for change in government, maybe the issue isn't the person, the figurehead in government, but the government itself. And that's a question that we all should be asking, which is why we have Anarcha Vegas here. And that is July 19th to 21st, the first 2 days. It's Candles in the Dark, and of course with Larkin Rose and the Free Ross benefit that we're having with Lynn Albrecht. But also the 21st will be the conference itself with a lot of great speakers, including Larkin Rose. Can you talk a little bit about Anarcha Vegas?
Sure can. So like Josh had mentioned, we're hosting a Free Ross fundraiser on Saturday the 20th. And the ticket proceeds will go to the Free Ross campaign. So we are excited about that. Sunday, we are holding our conference where we have speakers like G. Edward Griffin, Josh himself, Ford Fisher, Luke Radowski, Dan Dix, Jeff Berwick, Amanda Rockwitz, Larkin Rose, among several others. We're going to be talking economics. We're going to be talking politics. We're going to be talking homeschooling. So just a very wide variety of topics that really make a difference. And our whole goal of this is to empower the individual and have them just be a little less dependent on the state and just a little more empowered in themselves and what they can do and what they can provide for the free market.
This is all about us getting together as individuals and be responsible. Look, I'm against collectivism, not organization, and a lot of people think that if you are voluntarist or an anarchist,
you can't organize.
And that is a problem with a lot of anarchists, to be fair. But I mean, it's mostly because they don't like being told what to do, and I understand.
But if people are voluntarily offering to come together and listen to each other, to empower each other and offer each other insight, there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
and I
course.
feel like a lot of anarchists are not against that.
Exactly.
So I hate when people say that. We'll also have the BYOV workshop on Monday the 22nd. So for those of you who are interested in learning how to protect your cryptocurrency after you've bought it off of Coinbase or other exchanges, the best way to secure your asset, Juan Galt and Anastasia are going to be going to a location here in Vegas to teach you all about how to do that and how to secure your digital assets.
Does Anastasia not want her last name said?
I don't know how to say it.
Sergeyevna. Yes, that's Russian. So anyway, it's going to be great. Promo code WAM, WAM, will save you 10% on your tickets. And we're going to, I think, be doing a giveaway soon regarding Anarcha Vegas. But until then, you could save 10% on your tickets to Anarcha Vegas. Don't wait. The ticket prices will eventually go up.
Yep. Actually, they're going to go up on the 21st of June.
Good. I thought you were going to say on May. It was the 29th? Okay.
No.
Okay, good.
June 21st is when the ticket price does go up, both GA and VIP. So I think our ticket price is fair.
And we can talk about basic economics like getting government in to force businesses to raise the minimum wage is going to hurt the businesses, the employees, the poor the most. And it always ends this way. Again, it's going to perpetuate something, and then people are going to be poor, and then they're going to beg government for more help because debt, servitude, and poverty are perfect for government and banks to gain control over the populace. So we're going to be talking about that among many other things. I'm going to be on a media panel with a lot of great people, and I'm looking forward to it. And honestly, I mean, it comes down to being free, responsible human beings. A lot of it is live by your own actions. Like, don't just say it, live by it. Be that change you wish to see. Be the person that actually steps out of line and does what you want in your life without other people restricting you. And if they try to, disobey the authorities, the organized crime rackets we call government, that come after us and try to destroy our free will for the purpose of controlling the masses and leading us to the slaughter.
Stand by your morals.
Exactly. That are going to say stand by your... Anyway.
I've been singing that a lot over the last couple of days. So.
Please don't. Anyway, so thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and Erin Nakamoto signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
Like what you see here, WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so heavily demonetized and censored by YouTube, as these guys come in and flag all of our content as hate speech. The shadow banning is getting really bad, guys. Also, check our Bitcoin address right here on the screen or in the description below. We really appreciate it. And of course, check us out at the Red Pill Expo 2019. Of course, the great G. Edward Griffin and so many other incredible speakers will be there. Our link for that is below as well. And we cannot forget Mike Maloney's goldsilver.com, which you can also find in the description. One of the greatest market and monetary historians out there. We really encourage everyone to check that out. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.